to communicate with your angel, you have to quieten your mind through meditation and invite them in. And I realized that I could just try it. So I started to do it. I would just close my eyes and be like, is anyone there? And it started to respond.
Gabrielle Bernstein, a role model for spiritual seekers. Kyle Gray in the house across the pond.
Spirit junkie from Scotland. Mega fan.
From Scotland.
Mega fan since the beginning.
So let me start by just acknowledging who you are to me, and that our audience is going to be so tuned in for this because they love spirit guides. We haven't actually talked about angels yet, which is what we're obviously going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But we love talking about spirit guides, and we love talking about our super attractor power and manifesting. And this is, I think, what a lot of people come here for. So to have you here with me right now is just like major stuff. When we first met, we met in London doing a talk for Hay House, UK. We instantly hit it off because not only are you this profound angel medium, yeah, is that what you would refer to yourself as, an angel?
Yeah, medium? Angel person. Yeah, the guy that speaks to angels.
The guy who speaks to angels, exactly.
Yeah.
But you're also just this jovial young man, super lit up by yoga, tattooed up the arms and wherever else, and just so cool, just super high fashion. Like you, I find to be really freaking cool.
It's a mutual feeling. It's a mutual feeling.
And also my husband thinks you're cool. So if you get the Zach approval, then like you're in. You're in. So today I want to just dive in right here with these Dear Gabby big talks. We just have no small talk. We just go right in for big talk. I want to just go right in, direct talking to angels, whatever that means, whether it be talking first about what it means to be connected to angels and how you first knew that you had that connection.
I've been super connected since as long as I can remember, and I didn't necessarily realize that anything spiritual was happening in my early years. And just to kind of cut the long story short, I was paralyzed when I was 3 years old. And I had this virus that attacked my nervous system. And it was during that time of being in a wheelchair and being, stuck in one space that I started to be able to sense beyond the room. And so I was always, my mother used to call me Hoover ears because I was always wanting to listen beyond the room, vacuum ears, you would say. And I remember trying to feel what was happening in the next room or trying to pick up what was going on elsewhere. And that all kind of started to make sense when I look back. But about maybe a year or so later, my body returned to its natural state. My body healed itself. I overcame this virus. And my grandmother's health was deteriorating. And she was also living in her family home at the same time. And she was moved to hospital. And this neighbor was looking out for me while my parents were with my grandmother at the hospital. And it was that night I woke up and my nana was sitting at the bottom of my bed. And I remember she flipped me on my belly and she tickled my back, which was my favorite thing. And I remember just feeling so loved. And it was the next morning I went looking for my grandmother and I couldn't find her anywhere in the whole entire house. And my mother was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm looking for Nana. She came home last night." And my mum couldn't, I still get emotional thinking about it. She couldn't tell me what had happened. And then it was later on that day, my mother then said to me, "Your Nana went to heaven." And I remember learning about heaven in, like Sunday school. And I was always told that you when someone goes to heaven, you would never see them until you go there. And so from that very tender age, I've had this deep questioning of what happens to us when our physical body dies. And if my grandmother went to heaven, then why did I see her? And so that was with me from that age all the way up through my whole entire life. And I developed this sensitivity where wherever I would go, if someone was emotional in the room, I would mimic the emotion.
Mm.
Um, and I
Wow.
would, and my mother was she was a mobile hairdresser when I was growing up. And she would go to people's houses to cut their hair. And I would go with her and I'd be like petting the dog, but no one else could see the dog. It had like died 10 years before. So I was doing all these really like spooky things. So my parents were really confused, and it was actually a chance meeting with a medium, who actually said to my mother, "Your son has the same abilities as me, and by the time he's 17 years old, he will be known for being able to communicate with the other side." And she said this really specific thing. She said, "You will come off of a cruise ship, and his name will be in writing in a newspaper." And it was really weird. When I was 17, my mother took me on a cruise. And when I came home, the Daily Mail had named me the youngest medium in the United Kingdom. I was 17
Mm.
years old.
Mm. Wow.
But the one thing I'll say is the grandmother thing led me into looking into energy and looking into the unseen. And eventually it was a family friend who'd said to me, "What about angels?" And I had been interested in angels in younger years, remembering making one for the top of the Christmas tree. But I never really realized that angels were something that we could commune with. And this family friend said to me, "Why don't you come over to my bedroom and I'll read your angel cards?" And she brought out her cards. And the first card I picked was this word that I'd never even heard before. It was 15, I think, 14, 15. It said synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Googling it to find out what it actually meant. And when I look back, I realized that was a synchronicity. And I just went to the library the next day and I picked up every book on guardian angels that I could find. And it was there, it said, to communicate with your angel, you have to quieten your mind through meditation and invite them in. And I realized that I could just try it. So I started to do it. I would just close my eyes and be like, is anyone there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it started to respond. I started to hear voices saying certain things and really specific information. And that's how it all began.
First of all, you're such a beautiful storyteller. Thank you. So
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you.
I have all these visuals of you and your mom, and I know your mom. So you guys getting off the cruise and the whole thing. I see it all.
Yeah.
You got very emotional when you were talking about Nana, and I wonder if she's with you right now. I wonder if that's sort of
Always.
coming
I
through. Yeah.
I can't speak about it without getting emotional. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because of the way the world's been the last few years, but I
Mm.
did my first talk with Hay House in a long time, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was just an absolute. I
Yeah.
cried the
Yeah.
whole time I was on
Yeah.
stage. I was just like
Yeah.
so passionate about. I think it's also the feeling of knowing that when we leave this body, we will go somewhere and we will be able to continually see our loved ones. Like that is so reassuring to me.
Totally. Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
actually think that some of the freedom that I walk through life with and the bravery and courage that I walk through life with, not I think, I know I owe it to my own mediumship. While I don't have that fine-tuned connection that you have, it's not something. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
you
he's I definitely do, but in a different way. Maybe I hear things in a different way. And also, I mean, it's really like you said, it's something it's a practice that you can just develop even more.
mm,
And I believe that my full body knowing and faith that there is a world beyond our physical sight, that we can still connect to this world in a different present, in a different space, time and
right.
space, gives me just such grace and freedom
Mm,
in this physical body at this time, and
yeah,
trust, and just deep, deep trust. And I think that's one of the greatest blessings of even encountering a medium in any way. Like if
mm,
someone has had a reading or if they've heard you speaking and they feel that truth, it can be very reassuring to those folks walking around very powerless in this world and can be a very clear reminder of the power that we do have within us.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say the cool thing about angels is they don't need a medium to communicate with you. And I know you love signs more than anyone. And that's one of the big thing about angels is that when they want to get in touch with you, they do not need a person. They will find a way to reassure you that they are with you, whether that be like finding a feather or seeing the numbers light up on the clock like 1111 or 444. The angels, when they're sure of getting through to you, they will find a way. And I remember one time I was going through a bit of a hard moment, and it was in my business, and it was when I went full in angels. And I was driving home from my office that day, and I was like, angels, I just need some confirmation that this is the right thing for me to do. And I remember switching on the radio, and Justin Bieber was on the radio, and he sang "Spread Your Wings and Fly." And I was like, whoa, like Justin Bieber just channeled my angels, and he doesn't even know he's doing it.
Oh my God, I love that so much. That is exactly how angels are going to speak to us. And also we can see at times. I want to hear about what you can see, but I see sparks of light. So I'll see typically in healing rooms. So in a space with often with therapists. So if I'm in a therapy session or if somebody's doing healing work, I see a spark of light typically over their shoulder, and it's like it's like one of those light pens, and it's as if you're flickering the light on the wall, and it is just this little spark of white light
Yeah.
that
So angels are light. That is what their body is made of, and so they sparkle and they reflect light. And I think a lot of us have got this kind of set idea of how an angel is going to appear. We imagine like angels in America, the cloaked figure coming through the window with giant wings. Angels are not limited to a physical image, and they will use any way to reassure us that they're with us. And there's a lot has changed about my ideas with angels, and I've learned a lot since we spent more time together. And the one thing that's become clear to me is the angels, their purpose is
hmm,
to reflect love back to us. So we get amazed at the idea of communicating with an angel, like amazed that there's this presence with us, but they're just as amazed by us. So if we were to see an angel, we'd be like, holy smokes, there's an angel. And the angel's doing exactly the same. It's like, there's Gabby, and I am dedicated to her. And its purpose is to reflect love back to you so that you can discover what's ultimately within you.
that was beautifully said. I wonder if you can describe in your own words what an angel is.
Right. When I first started to learn about angels, and I was reading a lot of you know, the people who were in this before me, they all described angels as these kind of non-human beings that are charged to help the earth and all the beings within it. And I needed my own experience of what that really meant. And I'll never forget this one time. And I was in my bedroom, and I was meditating on the floor in front of my little altar. And I said to the angels, angels, thank you for revealing your true essence to me. I need to understand it. And I remember seeing this gigantic big heart beating in the middle of the universe. And every time the heart was beating, I realized that the beat was an angel. And then I just heard this message: we angels are the heartbeats of God.
Mm.
And so, right?
So beautiful.
And it all started streaming into my mind. I was like, angels are the heartbeats of God. And so therefore, when people say to me, hey Kyle, why do you keep speaking to angels when you can just speak to source or God directly? I say, well, angels are the heartbeats of God. And so therefore, when I'm speaking to an angel, I'm in touch with the heart of creation. There is
Wow.
no separation between them. They're one.
Wow. Do you believe that an angel, in a way, is like a conduit to bring us and our worldly ego mind back to the God thinking, back to source,
Right, 100%.
like a
So,
big holding our hand over the bridge.
right, exactly. It's like the universe is so intelligent that it creates personifications of itself so that we can have a direct experience of it. And so the angel is like God in drag appearing to us in a personified form so that we can experience it.
An angel is God in drag appearing to us in a personified form so that we can experience it.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I found my TikTok moment for you.
That's exactly what they are, because so many people find the idea of speaking to source or experiencing source challenging. It might be because of religious trauma or challenges growing up or whatever. And the idea of an angel just seems so much more accessible and personified. And it's the angel's going to come to you in a way that is comfortable for you, is safe for you, in a way that they're in honor of you. And the most important thing I always say to people is, you are your angel's purpose. Like, they are dedicated to you, you know. The source is running the whole show, but this one being is for you.
So that actually brings me to the next question, which is, do we all have our own individual angels?
So
Do
we
some
all
of
have
us have
angels.
many? Do we all have one guardian angel? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I realized over the years that what I learned about angels in the beginning has changed today. So I always thought angels were non-human. And for the most part, angels are souls or expressions of love that have never had a physical embodiment, but that doesn't mean they can't be. And I remember doing a reading for someone a few years ago, and during the session, this angel appeared to her. She had two angels, and I asked the angels for more information, and one of the angels felt like it was her child, and I said to her, "There's a being here, and it's telling me it's your child." And it turns out this woman had lost a daughter, and I kept saying, "My angel, my angel, my angel." And she pulled out her phone, she flipped open the her camera, and there was a photo of her daughter's tombstone that said "My angel" in this, and it gives me goosebumps to think about it. So I've realized that angels can be more than what we've been told before, and
Wait,
some.
so to unpack that, did her angel come through as this child that was in a human form for a period of time?
Yeah, so her daughter that was lost became her angel.
Oh,
Yeah.
became her angel.
Yeah, sorry. I
Got
got
that.
so
So you
yeah,
can, so what you're saying is somewhat, so a soul can incarnate as a human and pass on and become an angel.
right. And the most important thing with that is, if someone transcends ego, they become angelic. So for the most part, well, all in all cases, all children are so in grace, so in love, emanating directly from source. They have no ego. So the souls of lost children can become angels.
Hmm.
And so I've started to see angels appearing more and more with people. They have one angel, and then if something like that happens, an angel joins them, another thing. And then another thing that I've learned is, if we have like a near death experience, sometimes more angels come back with you. So I was doing a book signing, and this young girl was walking towards me with her mother. And when I was looking at the girl, I could see eight like figures of light behind her, like eight. And the little girl came up to my stand, and her mother said, "My daughter's been so excited to speak to you. She's had her own experiences." And I said to her, "You have eight angels, eight angels." And her mother said, "That's so strange because she's died eight times." And I was like, "Sorry?" And she said, "Yes, my daughter's heart has stopped eight times in her life."
Wow.
And so all these little things that have happened to me over the years have started to change my view. I used to think we all have one angel and it's been with us for lifetimes, but I'm now learning there's more and more angels with us, dependent on our life's experiences and the things that we go through, to kind of help us stay here and fulfill our own purpose.
Wow. Okay. Every response is a wow. Kyle.
It's huge.
Okay. Whew, it is huge. And and then the conviction that you speak about your connection to angels is so heart opening and relaxing to my system. And I'm sure that our listeners are having that experience. At one point in time, you had told me that I had this angel called Peter,
I
and that he
remember
was like a
this.
gatekeeper, and that he was there to protect my energy when I was like in a book signing, like kind of like a bodyguard is how you described him.
Hmm.
And I have since felt his presence, and I wonder, is it possible that that angel has like traveled with my soul, or like what can I know about that connection? Has it been going on for a long time? Is it specific to this lifetime? Like, is it all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above. I believe that our guardian angel is like our soul's gatekeeper. They kind of record our soul's journey and the evolution of our soul. They've been with us for lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes. So I believe the soul is recycled. I believe we come
Mm,
back many times. And what I've come to understand is that many people feel drawn to angels naturally. I've always felt a deep rapport. And I think the reason that many people feel drawn to angels, and the stats are really cool. It's like, in the US, it's 8 out of 10 people believe in angels.
cool. Wow.
Yeah, so it's big stats, right? Um, and out of those eight, 1 in every 10 believe they've had a direct experience of the angelic. So it's big stuff. Um, I believe that many of us feel drawn to angels because we're actually remembering them from before.
Yeah.
So if you feel like, oh my goodness, I feel my presence, my guardian angel, or I feel, like I want to connect with them, it's because before you were in this body, you were dancing across the stars together and you're remembering them from before.
Mm, I mean, dancing across the stars.
I
I
mean, you
have a
definitely danced across the stars.
I'm 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And I want to keep dancing even here. So Kyle, you have these beautiful decks, I will say,
That's
and
amazing.
you read these cards. And so I was wondering if you could pull some cards for the conversation, for my community,
Yeah.
for whatever needs to come through, or maybe I could pick the card. Well, that would be a card for me. Let's pull a card for the community. Maybe
Okay.
I'll selfishly pick a card at the end too.
I brought some just in case. I had a feeling you were going to ask me to do that.
Maybe you're psychic or something. I don't know.
So
Now,
are we
would
picking a
you let's pick a card first for this community, for the message for this community, for the Dear Gabby listeners out there.
Well, this is a good one. Angelic protection.
Oh, how perfect.
Whenever I pick a card, the first card is always a strength. It's what you have available to you right now. You just have to lean into it. And so the card that I've picked for everyone listening today is angelic protection. And so the angels are coming through and they want you to know that you are safe and that protection is available to you. And if you are in a place where you are feeling unsafe, the only thing you can do to change that is to call in more protection.
Mm.
And the angels are charged to help keep us safe, because when we're feeling safe, our gifts can come to the surface, our talents can be brought out into the light. And so there's a good chance, if you're listening to this right now, there's gifts and talents and abilities and things that you really do want to bring to light that you're maybe afraid of doing. And so if you call in angels to help you feel safe, that will be more achievable for you.
When you're feeling safe, you can bring your gifts to the light. That really hit me. That really, really, it like hit me right here.
Mm.
Wow. Beautiful. Oh my goodness.
That's a good one.
Can
I
I
love
pick
that
one?
angel. Yeah, how am I going to do that?
I'm going to just point. Okay, can you see where I'm pointing? The one that's sticking out in the middle, the one that's the next one, that one.
This one?
Yep, that's my card. Picking a card on Zoom.
Your card's transformation.
Mm.
So this is your strength again. It's something that you're leaning into. And this is about being able to transform and actually be able to allow transformation to unfold in your life. Because in the truth of the matter, none of us necessarily love change or the process of transformation. But what this is saying about you is that you are realizing that transformation is actually your legacy. you've transformed completely throughout your life, year after year, shifting into a greater form of yourself and leaning into your gifts more and more. And transformation, I will say, is your legacy. I think that's what you're here to do. You're here to
Mm,
help, caterpillars become butterflies.
yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing for you. I'll also say this: the angel that I was inspired by to create this is Archangel Zadkiel. And Archangel Zadkiel is the violet flame. And it's this angel that helps us transform a particular situation or an issue that might feel sticky or holding us back. And so if there's something in your life that's a little bit sticky right now,
Yes.
you
Yes.
need to imagine it in violet energy, completely invoke violet light all around it, and it'll help that transform. And I think this is also about a personal relationship transforming,
Mm-hmm.
allowing a personal relationship to change from what it
Mm-hmm.
was before to something new in
Mm-hmm.
order for a level of growth to be experienced. But it feels like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But when you are feeling that uncomfortable, it's because you're on the verge of something great.
Yeah.
That's the
You've
truth.
described the full shakeup that's happening in my professional world. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah,
And personal. Like it all kind of
that's huge.
intertwines. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go, if it was just us, I would say other things, but that should give you enough.
I might keep you around for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna have to have you back on the show. I guarantee this because there's something I need to say to you offline as well. But if when I have you back on the show, I want to do. I think you're gonna be a regular here, my love, and I would love to leave our guests with two last questions. And
Mhm.
maybe just a quick recap. So when they want to call on their angels using the language thank you and doing it more often. So that's our recap right there. Talk to your angels as often as possible, as often as you
Mm.
think of it. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the prayer, thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence, and be
Love it.
open to a sign. Just something to confirm to you that they're real,
Got
you
it.
know. And then
So
once you've
thank
got
you,
that,
angels,
yeah,
for reminding me of your presence and showing me a sign. I'm saying that.
yeah,
I'm saying that prayer now. Okay.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna have to email you later about my sign. Okay.
Okay.
Anything that we would want to leave people with in terms of what to do with the messages, like once they receive that guidance, what do they want to do with it?
So once you have that sign, the next move is invite angels into the area of your life that you need more love.
Hmm.
So if there's something that's causing you discomfort or causing you a sense of pain or feeling of being scared, that's a sign that your angels are needed. And so then once you have the sign, say, angels, thank you for laying your hands of light upon this situation and everyone involved. Mm.
Laying your
And
hands.
yeah, like I love this idea of angels laying hands of light on a situation, because the truth is nothing is too big for them to deal with.
Thank you, Kyle. So good.
Yeah,
It's just so good. I feel energized. I feel like I have had a spiritual jump start today.
good.
A I got everything all jumped up and ready to get an even deeper connection after this conversation, or starting even now.
Mm,
I want to close by just expressing how much I admire you, and that it has been a privilege for me to grow up with you over the last 11 years,
mm,
and to witness you in this beautiful, confident, gorgeous inside and out human form, being such a profound messenger in this lifetime. I'm proud of
well,
you.
thank you, Gabby. You'll always be my first mentor, my first author buddy who really helped me get started. So I so appreciate being here with you today.
I just love you. Thank you, sweetie. If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.